to another episode of Rose Review. I'm your host, Will D. And today we're going to start off with a little bit of sports, but throughout the first half of this show, it's going to be a lot of STFUs, which some people have been asking me to kind of bring back. So, first and foremost, the sports news that's worth talking about. LeVar Ball, right? Definitely most supportive dad in America, right? His son's playing in the NCAA tournament right now for UCLA. And, I mean, he has the balls. Has the balls to say that his son is better than Steph Curry. Let me just let you sit on that for a moment. All right? Kick him ball, but Steph Curry? Really? You're going to go there. Then say, and this one at least is a bit more within the realm of reasonable, better than Michael Jordan, but more reasonable because he says at the same age. I'll accept that. I'll accept the at the same age comparison because there's no way in hell your kid who's yet to win a title is anywhere in comparison to Michael Jordan in any way, shape, or form, really. But if you're going to say at the same age, all right, at least you're now more level ground. But Steph Curry, I mean, the man's barely halfway through his career and breaking records that it took others' entire career to set. You got to be out of your mind, dude. Out of your mind. I know you love your son, but there's a point where you go from being like a proud parent to just stupid. So LeVar Ball, shut the hell up. Please. Shut the hell up. Ain't nobody want to listen to you. I know you're going to the gym and you're working out and whatever because, you know, you understand your mouth is going to get you into trouble. It's not even a matter of your mouth getting you into trouble because if Shaq decides that he wants to mess you up, I don't care how much you're going in the gym. He's going to mess you up. But no one just wants to hear your crap anymore. Like, your son isn't as cocky, and he's the one actually doing the work. So shut the hell up, bro. It's not going to parent lives vicariously through their child. Just saying. On the other end of the spectrum, though, normally I got my boy's back. He's doing his stuff. Everybody hating on him, but, I got your back, Trump. I'm going to hold it down for you because no one else has the gall to do so. But even I have to tell you now to just shut the hell up. It's awkward when the president has a stance on stuff that's normally considered trivial, like, an athlete. We're not talking like a Jesse Owens who makes a major statement in doing what he does at the Olympic Games, or, even about the whole, should Michael Phelps be smoking weed, because weed is a major topic in general in this country. But Colin Kaepernick has made waves. Made waves by the fact that, he's kind of taking a peaceful Tebow-esque move in a solemn way to protest, right? He's become blacklisted by the NFL, ironically. And Trump has the nerve to say in his speech that, oh yeah, and this idiot, none of the NFL teams are going to pick him up because they're afraid to get an angry tweet from Trump, which also tweeting in Trump I have to bring up later. But he says this, and to which I have to say, shut the hell up. All right, in all honesty, what Kaepernick is doing is valid. People were very upset because he didn't salute or whatever for 9/11 and this, that, and the third. You know what? 9/11 doesn't change the fact that on 9/11, 2000 and I believe that's 2001, or 9/11 2000, 9/11 2002, 9/11 2003. Hell, 9/10 2001, 9/12 2001. That there was that incident 9/11 2001, but the day before, the day after, the year before, the year after, we can go from now into the future, we can go from now into the past, that this country has hated our people, right? Colin Kaepernick is half black, and even he gets it. He's not lost in that confusion, am I black, am I white? He understands where he falls. And in a league full of mostly minority players, right? We're not, maybe the quarterback role is mostly white, but legitimately, the NFL is mostly minority players. In a league that's, full of athletes putting their bodies on the line for others' entertainment, you have to consider that this one man is standing up for his entire group of people in a peaceful way, right? MLK is revered for doing this. But because he decided to kneel down when the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever, the national anthem, whatever the hell was read on 9/11, everyone's hating on him. 9/11 doesn't change the fact that there's hate in this country. That day didn't change the fact that there's hate in this country. It may have moved from black people until Arab people for a couple of months, but it's back on us again now. And even then, it wasn't gone from us. It was just one day where the whole world shut down, or I can't even say the whole world, but America shut down. So there wasn't any way to hate, really, because everybody was just freaked out and crying and trying to find out if relatives were okay. And I mean, it's a whole other thing. And if he chooses to kneel on that day, it makes even more sense, because on that day, right, we're supposed to be honoring American lives lost, right? But how can we honor just the lives lost on the towers or the lives lost on the airplane? Because that day, there are countless other lives lost. And on that day, this year and the year before and the years around 9/11, many of them are us, right? Where's our honoring? Where's the day to honor all those unjustly killed by the police? Where's our day to honor all those who were killed for, trying to get civil rights? Where's our day? Well, we got Black History Month, right? Which I'll touch on later, but and then it's the shortest month. But again, I'll get to that later. But this man's just simply taking a stand. He's not yelling at anybody. He's not cussing anybody out, but just acknowledging the fact that the injustice is 365, and he's blacklisted for it. The NFL, the NBA, the MLB, leagues full of minority papers should all be kneeling, should all be ignoring the anthem. Because if you weren't if you were any other person, be you Spanish, of any country origin, or black, or Arab, or whatever, and you're not a white male, well, yeah, I will say that, a white male in this country, and you're just not a multimillionaire, you could be like any other person, an Eric Garner or whatnot, attacked by the police. And until that injustice is done, Trump, shut the hell up. NFL, somebody pick him up, because the boy can play. And everyone else playing in those 3 leagues that are minority players, kneel with him, because his point is valid. And on that note, we're going to head to commercial break. So, Danny?
Estilo libre, Palcato Jiménez y Luis Vázquez, a tope music. La nena más bonita, ay, pero Dios mío, como miente la señorita. Mentira tras mentira, hay tanta bobería. Mi caso yo le hago que se vaya pa'l carajo. Mentirosa, no te creo, eres una mentirosa, mentirosa. No te creo.
All right, so we're back. So there's a little bit of local news I just wanted to throw out there. One is that, Macy's is having its Flowers Festival this Sunday. So if you want to go to the Macy's on 34th Street, take your kids. It's a fun event. It's very colorful. They have the carousel for the kids and whatnot. So just a fun family day. And also this weekend, Prospect Park, is having their 150th anniversary this weekend. So they're going to be tons of different events, some stuff for the kids, some stuff for adults, different shows and whatnot. Like you're going to see acrobatics, maybe some little bit of flame spitting and whatnot. But a couple of different things happening all over the park over the next, Saturday, Sunday. So check that out if you want. It's going to be great weather coming out. So go out, do something. We've been cooped in most of this winter. Even the warm days are in the middle of the week when you can't do much. So just enjoy the nice weather in the weekend. Other than that, another couple of SDHU things. So first thing that I wanted to mention, I didn't even mention this last week. We did our special ESC Game Week and Geek Week episode. But considering that this is a yearly thing, I had to bring this up. All of that Friday that was St. Patrick's Day, every black person I know on social media did one of two things. Make a joke about, what is that show, with St. Patrick on Stars. What did they call that thing again? It's one of those one-word type of things with the guy who sells drugs with his white friend. Power. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, so everybody was throwing up like this is the only St. Patrick that we care about or care to celebrate today or whatever the nonsense is. That one, okay, I get it. It's funny. I'll give you that. But then every other black person I know, these are also usually the same people who like to talk about how woke they are, and we've already discussed the word woke and the people who use it. We're all about, oh man, how dare these black people celebrate St. Patrick's Day when, you know, what did they do for Black History Month? To which I really just had to bring this up. The same people talking about black people celebrating St. Patrick's Day are the same people who don't know two shits about Kwanzaa. All right. So if you're not even celebrating Kwanzaa, how dare you call someone out for celebrating a Friday where they can drink and now it's just that everybody's doing it while wearing green? I mean, in all honesty, no one knows what St. Patrick's Day is about other than perhaps the Irish themselves. But we just figured it's a day to get drunk. I mean, it's a Friday. They're gonna get drunk anyway. Now they just figured to, like, you know, give reasons so they seem less like alcoholics and they just want to enjoy themselves. But frankly, the part that really kills me is and they don't even celebrate Black History Month. How the hell do you celebrate Black History Month? Like, is it just a month where you're angry at white people? Because the same black people that would be angry that month are just angry at white people all the time. I'm just saying, right? Is it a month where all you're supposed to do is protest? Because frankly, everybody seemed to be doing that all February anyway. Just because Trump was in office. He just said something and they're just like, let's hit the streets. Because you can get out of work for it. I mean, honestly, but half the people don't really care about the issues. They just want the time off. And then, is it that we just complain about the struggle all month? Because I know people who do that every day. So how do you celebrate Black History Month? I mean, why is Black History Month in the first place the shortest month, right? Every 4 years we get an extra day and it's still shorter than every other month. So the day that we honor people who are trying to fight for civil liberties, not just for themselves, but for all, we just kind of shortchange them, right? You know, gays are fighting for equality, right? Gays and women, they want equality. Black folk, we just want to be treated civilly. Can't even get that. So you gotta shortchange us on just the whole like, hey, we're people do thing,
right?
Right? I mean, we would kill to be white women with what they get. Just think about it. Just think about it. So that kind of bugged me. And going into next year, the same woke, oh my God, it hurts every time I say it. Woke individuals who had something to say this St. Patrick's Day. Why don't you just shut the hell up? Because I guarantee you, it's either going to be next Saturday or next year's going to be a Saturday or a Sunday. I don't even have to look at the calendar. It's just usually the next day or it skips a day or whatever. So it'll be next year be a Saturday or Sunday, which is another day that people will get drunk. Or
I'm sorry,
if it is
that was highly inappropriate.
I'm just saying. Because even if it's the Sunday, people are going to go out Saturday night and be like, we're going to go into St. Patrick's Day hard and call out Monday, you know, just because. So please just shut the hell up. I don't need to be hearing you complaining about how unblack or how coon people are just because you feel like, you know, it's a white holiday. It's not even a recognized holiday. It's just really an excuse for people to get drunk in the middle of the week, usually. Fortunately, it was the weekend this time. And I really just needed to get that off my chest. Like, that was really bothering me the last few weeks. I don't know why. I think I saw something this morning that just set me off with that. And yeah, just really had to get me off that chest. But I was mean to my boy earlier. So I'm sorry. El Presidente. I have to be nice. So I read an article that people are considering suing Donald Trump, right? There's even a contestant from The Apprentice that wants to sue Donald Trump for, you know, defaming him or whatever it is because of a tweet. So this really blows mine, right? And I know I'm going to take this too far. I'm warning you now because a lot of people, you know, they feel very offended by this, but it's the internet, folks, right? Where everything you have complete control of what you see and what you don't. So much so that the government can see you when you don't want them to. So there's a lot going on there. You know, the idiots that are on Facebook complaining that, oh, so-and-so is looking at my page and this, that, and the third, or they're upset because they're stalking somebody and what they see. Look, if you don't want to see someone's profile, you can just easily block them. You don't have access to them going. They don't have access to you coming. I don't get that. Like, people will delete their entire page or deactivate it and whatever for months at a time when you can just block the one person who's pissing you off. And that's not just Facebook. That's Instagram, Snapchat, all these different things. They give you this option, but you're too stupid to click the 2 extra buttons it takes to get there. And I say that because people consider Donald Trump a cyberbully, right? To which I call, what the is a cyberbully? You know, people are, oh, people kill themselves because of cyberbullying, whatever. So you're on Facebook with no friends and people are making fun of you. That sounds like someone who just delete Facebook. Or literally block everybody that you don't want to talk to. That's not from a group that you're in or something. Like, it's just retarded. And yes, I say retarded. Like, people who get offended by stuff and it drives them mad over stuff on the internet, you're stupid. Because you can literally just keep that content out of your life completely. There are other websites. There are other things to look at online. You can watch funny videos. Hell, I'll just spend an entire day watching videos of kittens doing absolutely nothing just because they're so cute. Right? That's what the internet is there for. For the other people, you know, you can go and troll. I mean, every troll on the internet should be sued then because all they do is go and try to ruin people's days, which makes no sense and honestly is hilarious half the time. The comments that they leave that are so asinine that anyone would care to leave it, let alone someone who cares that it was said, right? And now we're talking about the president, right? So you want to go and sue the president for having an opinion. The hell? The First Amendment protects all of us to be able to say what we want to say. Not to say that you're going to get away with it, but you have the legal right. And we're talking about a rich white man, not just a white man, a rich white man, to say whatever the hell he wants. He's not saying it to your face. He's saying it over the web. You can completely ignore it if you want. You can come back at him and make him cry because Donald Trump will come back at you. He will be upset if you criticize him. SNL is getting a crap ton of complaints because they make fun of Trump, right? Rosie O'Donnell went through years of fighting through Trump. Still, they don't get along. So you can go back at him, and he's a child enough to come at you. But you want to sue him? You really think you're going to be able to sue him? The idea that you fathom this means that you're retarded. If you think you're going to sue Donald Trump over a tweet, if you think you're going to sue Donald Trump over anything outside of the fact that he might actually owe you money, and even still, he's going to get away with it. Just saying. If every celebrity, you know, said something that pissed someone off, or if every person cared, I mean, right now, I think people are mad at Christy Yamaguchi because she said some nonsense about break a leg to, what is that, Nancy Kerrigan, wishing her good luck on Dancing with the Stars, but because it's Nancy Kerrigan, the whole, like, she actually had her leg broke, and, you know, they're like, oh, that's so upset, how could you be so cruel, da, da, da. Like, man up. People are coming at Cuba Gooding Jr. for, like, throwing at someone's skirt. That's more offensive than wishing someone, you know, good luck by saying break a leg, you know. It's a stage, so technically it's the technical term to use. But, dude, get over it. Like, seriously, just get over it. If you don't like it, block him. You don't have to read his tweets. People literally follow Trump just to complain. They want to see what he says to complain about it. You're retarded. You're absolutely retarded. And those of you who really care about cyberbullies or cyberbullying is back, whatever, like, I'm sorry, I'm a geek. You know, all we do is troll each other. Y'all are just soft. I'm sorry. This is soft America. If cyberbullying, whatever. And I mean, literally, it's Donald Trump. So the fact that you literally are holding his opinion in high regards, dude, you're stupid. So everyone who's fathoming the idea of suing Donald Trump, shut the hell up. Anyone who complains and complains about stuff they see on the internet, shut the hell up. Like, it's so easy. Click blocked, or click I'm on Google looking for something else, or click I'm on YouTube looking at funny videos. What the hell is your problem that you care what some random fool over the internet who doesn't have the gall to say it to your face, right? Someone insults you in your face and you want to do something about it, that's something. He's saying it over the web because he knows he can't be touched. Get over it. And on that note, we're going to head to another commercial break, so Danny, if you could.
She's so fake. She's such a slut. You can see the layers on her face. Look at her chicken legs. Oh my god. How short is that skirt? I can't believe she'd even put that on. Is that her dress? It's not even on her hardly. It's not even covering her up. It's actually disgusting. Oh my god. How can she do her hair like that? I don't even know how this girl has friends. I saw her talking to Holden the other day. Who does she think she is? I bet she slept with the whole football team. She's not even pretty. She's gained so much weight. She looks like a cow. Such a good idea. Watch this. You're good. Oh my god, that's so funny. You gotta post that. I got an idea. Pass this. Oh my god.
Víctor Acosta y Regativo, estilo libre, junto al Cato Jiménez y Luis Vázquez, a tope music. La nena más bonita, ay, pero Dios mío, como miente la señorita. Mentira tras mentira, hay tanta bobería. Mi caso yo le hago que se vaya pa'l carajo. Mentirosa, no te creo, eres una mentirosa, mentirosa. No te creo.
Yeah, I told you the first half of the show might be a little intense. I went there. I told everybody, shut the hell up. But the second half, definitely, I think, should be a bit more fun. Because frankly, I like to have fun. It's Wednesday. It's almost the ending of my day job week. You know, I don't like to say work week because I work most days. So my day job week and the middle of yours. You just got through hump day. Yay, no more hump day. Heading towards the weekend, right? So a little bit of fun, right? Now, this particular week, we're going to go over a couple different things, right? We're going to start off with the trailer. We're going to talk about what hit theaters and some stuff for you to watch at home because still, the two most frequent things I find in New York is there's nothing never to do in the city, right? That's what I hear from New Yorkers all the time, native or foreigners. But when they're in New York and you're a New Yorker, now that the definition is quite broad, it's been, what is there to do in the city this weekend? There's nothing to do in the city this weekend. So I told you some things to do. And now the other thing that I get most frequently from New Yorkers or Bostonians, what's to watch on Netflix. So we're gonna touch about some things that you can watch on Netflix, feel a little better about yourself, find something to do to kill those weekends where there's nothing to do, even though there's tons to do. So first and foremost, movie trailers, right? March has been a super big blockbuster movie month, completely out of nowhere. When's the last time we were hyped about a movie every freaking week in March? Right? It just doesn't fit. But March is ending. You know, the last big weekend releases Ghost in the Shell this Friday and Boss Baby this Friday. Boss Baby, I've been already talking about since the Lego Batman movie. You know, I saw the trailer for it then, and I was just like, yo, Alec Baldwin, let's go see this. So if you haven't seen the trailer, if you don't know what it's about, YouTube it. YouTube Boss Baby. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. It's a great film to take your kid to. But honestly, I'm not even going to lie to you. Since Ghost of the Shell is the other movie this weekend, that's the date movie. It's hilarious. Just fresh from the chili. Hilarious, right? Now, for the rest of us who have a little bit more geekiness, you got Ghost in the Shell coming out. I mean, tons of reviews about how close to the comic it is. The graphics are amazing. You know, Scarlett Johansson is the new Charlize Theron in a sense. I'm still mad that she did Lucy because Lucy is actually kind of like a rip-off version of one of my story ideas in a way. So I'm kind of pissed about that. But she's still hot, so I'll watch this movie. And Ghost in the Shell is probably one of the most highly regarded series in anime culture. As an action series, as a series with a leading female, as a psych series, which means that usually it's something psychological in depth that they touch on concepts that most people avoid thinking about if they've ever thought about anything in their life that's somewhat possibly deep. I suggest anyone, if you like an action flick, if you like anime, if you just like Scarlett Johansson, go see this film. You'll be surprised. The trailer alone gets you so excited. But yeah, definitely something. But the trailer release that's kind of taken over, and it just came out today, has been for the movie It, right? People may know that it's been done before. Literally, it has been done before. And it was a hit, right? It's a cult classic. It's the reason why some people are scared of clowns. It had one hell of an awkward twist at the ending. And it originates from a Stephen King novel, which is how you know that it's supposed to be scary, and to some legitimately was. This new version, without a doubt, for everyone is creepy. I watched the trailer earlier today, and it definitely has a different spin. It feels, and they said it's trying to keep it closer to the actual novel. It feels, just from the trailer, that they decided to go less with the gore and more with the horror. Movies with lots of blood aren't necessarily scary movies, right? They're just bloody, they're gory, they're messy. It's a violent side to the horror genre. But horror is about suspense. It's about fear. It's about those moments when the music gets creepy and you jump when nothing's there. That's a horror movie. That's what classic movies did. That's what classic stories do. And that's what the movie take this time around. It's less about the the creepiness of a clown or the comedy factor. It's really more about creating that fear, that scariness. I mean, some of the scenes are just intense from the trailer. So I would tell you guys, take a look at that. You'll be quite surprised. And I'm looking forward to seeing that movie released. And, for many other people, it's a few weeks away, but Fast and Furious is coming out soon. That new one. We know there's no Paul Walker. Kind of interested to see what they do with it. They're sort of replacing it with Jason Statham. Not sure how I feel about that. But hell, it's a car movie. You got the transporter. There's going to be tons of action. I can't complain. You have The Rock in it. I just can't complain. So look for that. If you somehow avoided that trailer, look at it, because this movie, I'm going to tell you now, you're not going to go to this movie expecting a storyline. Just don't. In short, Dominic goes rogue. There's your storyline. The rest is all about the explosions, the gunshots, the car racing, the action, the destruction. That's what it's about. So go watch this movie. If you want to have a mind-numbing experience, go watch that movie. But what has come out this past week? 2 movies. I posted up the tickets on Instagram. We gave a couple out at the theater this Friday. And, shout out to the people who got to see the movie for free, and shout out to the people who came with me. Went to go see Power Rangers Friday. You saw last week, me and David got into it, right? Just got heavily into it. And he was telling me, oh, it's not going to be that good. It's not going to be what you're expecting. Every critic review I have seen for this movie, except one, completely hates it, right? And this is before the movie even comes out. Just, oh, this trivial, whatever, da-da-da-da. But here's the thing, folks. These are people who never liked Power Rangers in the first place, right? They were too old for it when it came out. They didn't understand it. They don't get it. This movie is a 5 out of 5, folks, right? And I say that with this movie having 3 noticeable flaws in key moments, and still say it's a 5 out of 5 because it's so good you don't care about the mistakes. You don't care about the obvious flaws, because this movie takes the same concept from Power Rangers, right? Where you have a bunch of these teens who find these objects that they were destined to find, and it, forces them into the scenario where they have to save the world, right? Bada bing, bada boom. Power Rangers in a nutshell. The original series was pretty much a PSA, trying to teach kids how to this, that, and the third. Saban bought it off cheap from the Japanese companies because, over there it's another show. And over here, we love anything that's Japanese if you're a geek, because you're just like, it wasn't here and I don't have to read the subs anymore, that sort of thing. And it grew because the action scenes were cool for its time, and, they were relatable teenagers supposedly to who, I don't know, but whatever. It was just entertaining because you got to see monsters get their butts destroyed in explosions. Boom. I say that as a fan myself. This movie takes that whole concept and just kind of makes it relevant now, right? You have a character who is highly intelligent, but on the spectrum, right? He has some sort of socially inepting mental disability. You have a girl who, is coping with the fact that maybe she isn't as nice as people think or as nice as she wants to be, and that, you know, she's guilty of something. You have a guy who was on the road to success, like college bound, NFL bound, whatever, and a stupid mistake ruins his life. A girl who's from a very strict religious family coming to terms with the, you know, the fact that maybe I like other girls, you know, and I can't tell anybody. And a guy who has such a dark, you know, life, right? There's a lot of sadness in his life that he doesn't feel he can express it, that, you know, he just puts on that smile in front of everybody and no one knows his truth. All scenarios that you can find on Degrassi, on Edgemont, on Skins, on any regular teen show, right? All scenarios that you may actually know people who are dealing with this. You know? And it makes it relevant. At the same time, the bad guy is actually scary, right? Rita Repulsa's, I had full-grown adults tell me that, yeah, she's kind of creepy. I wouldn't want to take my kid to this. Seriously. Which, the old Rita is this, like, fake clown-looking witch thing that wasn't scary at all. Outside of her makeup was actually kind of attractive. You're like, oh, Rita, okay, cool. You understood why somebody would marry her because you're like, damn. And not to say Elizabeth Banks isn't attractive, because when she came out in that full, like, Ranger outfit at the end and whatever, you're like, damn, I wouldn't mind being killed by you. Seriously. This Power Ranger movie actually has death in it. It's a running theme. It's the reason why they're looking for her, because they're like, she's going to kill everyone. Seriously. And then she starts killing people. It goes there. There's a point in the movie where I think someone's actually going to start just cutting themselves on camera, and I'm just like, wait a second. I would have never thought that watching the original Power Ranger series. The action was great. The suits were cool. They didn't just have the powers. They had to, like, earn them, which was another thing that was awesome. Right? And the best part to this movie is that the all-knowing, godlike Zordon doesn't know everything and is kind of a douche. And even that brings a sense of realism to it, because considering Zordon's scenario, this one is more realistic. Played by Bryan Cranston, which I think is awesome. I enjoyed it as a full-blown movie, as a Power Ranger fan, as a millennial. It's a great movie. And there were people in the theater older, right? Because Super Sentai goes into an age range from 18 to 40. Everyone in the theater loved it. And it's one of those movies that you have to experience in the theater, because it's one of those things that was such a big pop sensation in the 90s that, like, you have to enjoy it with other people who understand what it was, what it is, where it comes from. And the environment is just that much better. There's a point we're sitting in the theater and some guy just, you know, they're getting ready to do it, to try and morph. And this guy's like, it's morphing time. Because you know, like, you just know they can do it now. And everyone in the theater starts, like, cheering and going crazy. And, you know, the scene happens. And we're all like, oh my God, it's, you know, like, that's a real movie experience. Like, there's a reason why you go to the theater for certain things. There's a reason why you go to certain theaters for certain stuff. Like, I can't watch every movie out of Magic Johnson. But best believe if I'm watching some sort of, like, black film, I'm going to the Magic Johnson because you want the audience reaction. Right? I went to the Times Square because I know the geeks go to Times Square for a big movie premiere. And it was worth it. So if you haven't seen Power Rangers, go see it. If you didn't plan on seeing Power Rangers, go see it. And David, I was right. It was better than my expectations. All right. The other movie was Slamma-Jamma. A movie that honestly I didn't know was even out until opening day. Poorly advertised. Very few limited showings. But in all honesty, you know, this is, for those of you who don't know, it's a movie of the guy who of this, you know, guy who's coming back out of jail. He was a former, college ball player, messed up, ended up in jail, comes back out and is trying to kind of redeem himself, get back his girl, get back into ball. He enters like this international slam dunk contest. And, you know, this movie is full of great basketball scenes, which is why I convinced myself to go see it. I already knew that was going to happen. I liked some of the things from the trailer. But all in all, this is a movie that should have never hit theaters. It should have been straight to Netflix or something. I give this movie, just because it was in theaters, like a 2 out of 5. If it was a Netflix movie, I would have said 3.5 out of 5 just because you didn't spend the extra money on it. Again, really great sports scenes. It's a simple story, you know, rising up through the, or rising up through redemption or whatever nonsense. It's been done before. But if it hits Netflix within the next year or so, definitely give it a watch if you're a fan of basketball. It's really good sports scenes. About the only good scenes in the movie, legitimately. No one's really a trained actor. You just kind of enjoy it as like a low budget teen film. But it's sad because the guy who did it also did like Jurassic Park. So on that note, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to come back with my pick of the week and a couple of things that you should be watching on Netflix. So Danny, if you could.
As mighty armies clash in a struggle for total domination, the scales can be tipped by one man who has the courage to confront his fate and make a choice that will decide the fate of the world.
Guys put a lot of smoke in today. Wow. But anyway, we expecting a real superhero? I don't think so. The real life superheroes are the ones that are helping out in their community today. And the LDM Show will be there to bring you the events and stories to life. Do you know a real superhero? Let us know. But for now, follow us on Instagram and Twitter and like us on Facebook. Also visit our websites for photos, videos, and updates. But until the meantime, hey, I gotta be out of here.
Hello, my name is Araya.
And I am Selena.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
And when I grow up, I want to be a nurse.
Did you know that individuals who drive while sending or reading text messages are 23% more likely to be involved in a car crash more than other drivers?
Also, a car crash is typical, happens within the average of 3 seconds after a driver is distracted.
The United States Department of Transportation notes that cell phones are involved in 1.6 million auto crashes in a year.
That causes 500,000 injuries and takes 6,000 lives.
On February 19, 2011, Ashley Jones Davis was killed in a horrific car accident. She was texting and driving when she left the center lane and drove head into a box truck. But she stopped short, writing in her final message, "I can't discuss this right now. Facebooking and driving is not safe." Because of this, a new law was made.
We have families that will miss us.
We also have futures.
There is no text that cannot wait until later.
So let's take this pledge and say no to texting and driving.
Together we can spread the word
and save a life. Don't text and drive.
All right, and we're back. So can you pull up that pick of the week, por favor? So this one I thought was funny because I don't know why, but the moment I saw it, I literally thought of my little cousin. So it's from J Everyday 90, who has tons and tons of funny things on Instagram. So look him up, and it's just a very simple picture, something I think we all know. So it's like says me on a scale from 1 to 10, how cute am I? And the girl goes, I mean, you funny. And just the face is priceless. The whole like the or the damn girl, really you gotta do me like that. I see. I don't know. I think it's the face that my cousin makes sometimes when like you make fun out of him, and so just like I just see the picture, it just cracks me up. But it's a little bit of something that we as guys can all relate to, because at some point in time you kind of did that, unless you were maybe like Chris Brown. But I'm sure he went through that funny phase around like 8 or 9 that everybody goes through. So just a little something to amuse us this month. And so some things I wanted to tell you guys to look for on Netflix, right? So since I ended on one of those like low budget black movies that kind of disappoints but has good parts, I decided to talk about a good one, right? It's another low budget black movie. The way that it's done is a little basic, right? And I'm not talking cinematography. I just mean like the subject matter could have been so much. There could have been so much more done with it, right? So there's a movie called Burning Sands on Netflix. It's a relatively recent upload to the site and the app, but it talks about fraternities and how far are you willing to go to join a frat? how long does it take you before you realize that it may not be worth it, right? And not to say that all frats do this, but throughout the years, hazing has been a major issue in fraternities, or at least it's been acknowledged for going too far these days. And I guess someone saw Mickey. In recent years, you know, no one's really talked about any of this stuff really happening at black frats, and mostly because in general there's a no snitching rule. So now add that with the whole fraternity thing, and yeah. But it's well known that in certain places things can go too far. And the thing is too, as black males, you don't ever want to admit things are going too far, because then you're soft, right? Then you're weak. So this movie goes through this as this guy is trying to get into a fraternity to sort of spite his father, right? You gotta get this idea that him and his father don't have this good idea. So he's like, my father was a pledge, but he decided not to do it. Like, he couldn't handle it. He couldn't make it. So like, this guy's doing this purely just to, you know, spite his father, to prove that he's better than him, right? At the same time, though, when he's constantly asked about why he's doing it, for some reason he can't admit what he's doing it for. And at the same time, it doesn't even seem like that is enough of a reason to do it. But he's just kind of like, I'm through the motions. I've been doing stuff for the last few weeks. I should just finish this, right? And you follow this guy, and they go back and forth with him, and like really good scenes to show that he's intelligent. He has a head on his shoulder. He has a heart, whatever. But he's just caught doing this one dumb thing, and how it cost him his relation, like what relationships it cost him. You know, how it's taking a toll on him physically, because a lot of the crap that he takes is more than anyone else, even in his group, and how far these kids get pushed. Despite how the movie may end, I feel because of the issue that it addresses, because of how it's done, I mean, some of the casting in it is kind of like, wow, they did this movie? Like, who would have thought they would do this? But I guess they felt passionate about it. There's a lot of good quotes that make you think, especially from Frederick Douglass and things like that. Like, it's a good movie. I would give it a 4. Like, if you're on Netflix and you don't know what to watch, this is definitely something to just put on and give it a shot. It's a legitimate movie. It's not a bad watch at all. But just kind of be open to the realness of it, and don't just ignore it, right? Then other than that, stuff on a more lighter note. So I'm an action fan. I love kung fu flicks, right? You know, my whole otakuism thing kind of just brings into, I love Asian stuff in general. And there's a movie I saw a while back called Monkey King, right? And everything that we know about Goku's is all somehow supposed to be related to the Monkey King, the big Chinese, not Japanese, Chinese myth, who's known for, like, you know, all the stuff that happens to him, especially on this long story called Journey to the West. And the Monkey King is pretty much, you know, for those who understand Western mythology, Loki, but for the Chinese, and the guy who fights the gods with his tricks and magic, and he's strong. And there's a series out right now called God of High School that's Korean, that talks about this guy who's supposedly him, and how he almost beats all the gods single-handedly because he's so creative and so destructive and powerful. And in this movie, a goddess sends the weakened Monkey King, or, you know, I'll use his Chinese name because I like it, but Wukong, to protect a monk who's going to be receiving sacred scrolls to bring back to the goddess. But the Monkey King, being who he is defiant against the goddess, and, you know, in general doesn't want to do it, but he likes the monk eventually and helps him out, and they go on their journey. It's a fun watch. A lot of great action scenes. The thing about some of these Chinese movies when they go and dip into the supernatural is the CGI effect is different, and it's really cool. And it allows them to do different things that we wouldn't normally do. Like, think of Kung Fu Hustle or Shaolin Soccer, or things of that nature, right? It's interesting visually what they do. The story is a good story. It's a simple story. It's a fun story, though. And easily a 4 out of 5. The only reason why I don't give it a perfect score is because I feel like a lot of Asian humor, or what they find funny or interesting, is lost on most Americans and American culture. So there may be parts of it that you're just kind of like, oh, this is unbearable. I know. But those few moments, very few, I'd say maybe there might be 3 in the entire movie, and it's a long movie, are worth getting through. The ending is a little long, though. Like, if you see the last action sequence, you don't have to finish it to the end. That's where it's super Asian-y, but, that sort of thing. The last 2, one of them is a stand-up from Louis C.K. It's one of his more recent stand-ups at the Comedy Store. This guy is just funny, right? We all know him from, the show Louis and whatnot on FX. He's just a funny guy. His stand-up is funny because it's him. It's really him, what he talks about. He really doesn't like airplanes. So you can say that from all his stand-up. He really doesn't like airplanes. But give him a listen. Listen to some of the stuff that he talks about because he's very honest. And I warn you now, he does say the N-word quite a few times in it, which, for those of you who don't know, he is a white guy. But it all actually comes together where you don't feel offended. And again, if you feel offended by someone's words, like, if there's no truth to it, doesn't really make sense. So just listen to him out. It's a really funny thing. It'll crack you up. And also on the comedy note, The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt's releasing season 3. I have heard of it, never saw it. I wanted to give it a watch. The first season had me rolling. I'm in the middle of watching season 2 now, getting ready for the premiere in the next few days of season 3. I'm telling you, folks, watch. It's done by Tina Fey, so you know it's good. And I don't know, it might make a feminist out of you yet. So it's appropriate for the ending of March to get last little bit of feminists on. But last but not least, I have to mention this because I remembered. Weeks and weeks and weeks on Facebook, I keep posting the stuff from Lucha Underground, right? It's on Netflix now, the first 2 seasons. The new season's going to be coming out live soon. People, if you like wrestling at all, you have to watch Lucha Underground. These guys do one thing that WWE doesn't do, and actually really tell stories. The action is cool, a lot of high flying, a lot of stuff you're not normally used to, but they tell stories, like new, unknown stories. They delve into the mysticism that the WWE used to do with Undertaker, but they do it in a more creative way. You'll see a couple familiar faces, a lot of unknown wrestlers, and Matt Stryker really breaks down the moves, what they do, and how they're supposed to go. So if you really want to learn wrestling, maybe you want to get into some color commentary or some technical commentary, watch this show and pick up a few new things. Lucha Underground, definitely. All right? I'm your host, Will D. This has been another episode of Will's Review. And if you're fortunate enough, I might bump into you this weekend at the Mocha Festival. Indie, artist, rock, definitely. Catch you guys next week.